am Melissa Alton. I'm the Objectionable Mom, and each week I bring you tips and tricks on how to be a better lawyer and a better mom. And this week I'm excited because I have a special guest with me. So I have Miss May Porraspita, and she will be giving us her take on what it's like to be a lawyer and a mom. So May, thank you so much for being with me today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Melissa, for inviting me. I'm super excited.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what you do, how long you've been a lawyer, and how long you've been a mom.
Well, my name is May Porraspita. It's really my lady's, but everyone calls me May because no one can really follow the whole my lady's name. Just thought it was easier for everyone to actually remember and be able to pronounce it. I've been an attorney since 2005. I then opened my office in 2012, and ever since running my office, and my office is in Pembroke Pines. Right now, what I do is family law and mediations, and I'm excited to be able to offer some of my services not only to the Pembroke Pines area, but also to Miramar and Miami Lakes.
How many kids do you have?
Well, I have, I guess, officially 4. I have an 18-month-old baby, Bryce. I have a daughter who is 9. Her name is Emily. And I also have 2 stepsons, Justin and Max, that are 14 and 18.
Definitely a full house.
Right. All ages.
All ages. You've got the full spectrum. It's
Right.
great.
So if you have a question about any age, I can cover it.
That's good. That's good. I have lots of questions on all ages, so that's good. Back to the law office. I know you said you went on your own. You run your own law office. How many employees do you have? What does that dynamic look like?
My office is a very small office, and I've kept it like that over the years, sort of intentionally, because I didn't want it to grow to a point that it kind of got out of control for me. So it's just myself as an attorney, and then I have 2 employees that help me as a paralegal and an assistant, and then I have a part-time receptionist that assists as well.
So tell me, do you remember why you became a lawyer?
That is such a hard question. I would like to give some grandiose reasons, I wanted to help people, but really not. I kind of was torn between, did I want to do psychology? Did I want to do journalism? Did I want to do law? And I kept, Xing things out, and there I landed in law school. So, but I'm very excited that I did. I am happy with the choice.
To follow that up then, let's see if this one's as hard to answer. Do you remember why you became a mom? I mean, other than the obvious. We're not going to go down that road.
Other than I was pregnant and now here we are. I always wanted to be a mom. Obviously I wanted to wait until I was done with law school and all of that, but I had such a good relationship with my mom. We butt heads all the time, but she has always been such a great example as a mother. I always kind of longed for that and to be able to have that relationship with my own kids. And I was super excited when my first child was a girl, and thought, oh, now I have a little girl, to kind of dress up and play with. So it's really, out of everything that has ever happened to me or I've ever done, that is by far the best thing has been to be a mom.
And what's your mom's relationship, I guess, with your daughter, being that it's like the 3 generations of women?
Oh, my daughter can do no wrong. My mom basically spoils her to death. And, things that I was never allowed to do, and, rules that she had all went out the door with my daughter. She can do no wrong. But both my parents watch my baby son, and they also watch my daughter sometimes when she's out of school, because obviously I'm working and trying to practice and all that. So their relationship is really amazing to watch and see how close it is to have the grandparents. So close and so close knit with the kids.
So tell me, what do you enjoy most about being a mom?
I just, really just the love that they give you. There's nothing like them saying mama, even though it drives you crazy when it's like the 100th time in the last 2 minutes. But that unconditional love that you feel, especially from the babies when they're so little, and you're their whole life, is amazing. And, even with my daughter now that she's 9 and more independent, and it's like, oh, I can do my own thing and I don't need you for this and that. She always runs like, mommy. And that's like the best feeling in the world.
And you got like a little break, because then you had your baby boy. He's 18 months old. after having your older daughter now. So it was a nice little refresher course, I imagine, and having babies
It was
around.
a gap. It was a gap, but it was like, for me, it worked out. I don't know that I would have been able to go from, being pregnant to a little baby that doesn't sleep through the night to a toddler, which is what I'm going into now. And as I see him trying to kill himself off the stairs and off, everything, I'm like, this is why I waited, because it's a tough age. Tough age.
All hands on deck. We talked about what you like about being a mom. Now, what do you enjoy most about being a lawyer?
I think it grew. I kind of like grew into the position. I didn't go into it, like I said before, to help people. It wasn't, I don't think that was like my thought when I decided to become a lawyer. But as time passed, and before I ever did family law, I did insurance defense and a couple of other things. And I feel the most fulfilled now doing family, because I really feel that I help people in their toughest of times. Divorce can be very, very difficult. I mean, I went through it myself at some point, so I know that it's very draining and emotionally taxing. So I feel like now I really make a difference with my clients and helping them get through things. To me, that's the most fulfilling part, that I actually do feel that I do help people now.
You'll find yourself giving your clients advice that maybe you followed in your own family, raising your kids?
All the time. I feel like I bring in my experience, my personal experience, all the time to my clients, and also when I mediate for family cases. And because I live every day with a blended family, I feel that it gives me a different perspective. I can kind of see into the future when they're like, well, but what's going to happen when we're exchanging at 3 o'clock? I'm like, well, this is kind of the way that it's going to work. And over time, that's going to change. But I think I can bring a little bit of like a personal feel to it, because I have gone through it.
Just on a daily basis with your, what I imagine is a hectic schedule between your kids, your law firm, your husband, your baby. What is one thing that you try to do for yourself on a daily basis?
I have really worked on practicing gratitude. I feel that we all get very overwhelmed trying to be everything to everybody. And I just almost have like this guilt constantly, like either whether it's mom guilt or work guilt. Am I doing enough for my office? Am I promoting it enough? Am I spending enough time with my kids? Am I spending enough time with my husband? So I really try to take a step back every day and just stop and just be grateful for everything. And it really kind of makes me like recenter and be like, okay, one thing at a time, because I can't do everything all at once.
Do you wake up in the morning and sort of take a few minutes to feel the gratitude, or do you do it at night? Do you have like a set time when you do it, or you just make sure to take 5 minutes out at some point?
I try to do it in the morning. First thing in the morning doesn't work for me, because I usually am woken up by screams for mama, because he does not want to stay in his crib once he wakes up. If his eyes open, he needs out. So that's not the time for me to practice gratitude.
He hasn't started jumping out of the crib yet, because that's
not yet, but we're this
phase, super fun phase. Get ready.
We're this close to him trying to, yeah. So once my parents take him and they start the day with him, and my daughter's in school, then before I start my day, I do try to take like 5-10 minutes to meditate and think, and try to recenter and deal with the day, because all kinds of things come up during the day. So if I wait till later on, it won't happen.
Great advice. And I completely agree. I always say gratitude over anxiety. Like whenever you're feeling anxious, yes, or some kind of feelings like that, of like things you can't control, you just assess what you have and what you need to be grateful for, and it just cancels out all the rest. It's amazing, the power of gratitude. So thank you.
And I've always had a lot of anxiety, and I used to never talk about it because I thought it was almost a sign of weakness. But over time, I've kind of put that aside and be like, but there's so many people that have come to me without me saying anything and said, oh, but I feel anxiety. And I feel that when I put aside whatever fears I have and saying like, oh, I don't want it to come across as weakness, and I actually say, you know what, it happens to me too, people don't feel so alone. And I think that's the biggest problem with anxiety, it being so taboo, and everyone thinking, oh, it's just happening to me and I don't want to talk about it. So, for all the moms and the lawyers, because I think that combination is a little difficult. And I think a lot of us have anxiety and we just don't express it because we're not supposed to be vulnerable as attorneys. And maybe even as moms, that, we do take a minute to breathe and relax and think, it's going to be okay. And just have gratitude for what we do have.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like this profession specifically is prone to having so much anxiety and every day, and it just becomes a norm, and there's not a lot of support out there for us in the big law firms. And then if you're on your own, it's just you, so you have to really find a way to control all those feelings and deal with it in a healthy way. So I'm so glad you said that. And on that note, what's your one piece of advice to moms who do feel like that, who feel like they're struggling in their careers as lawyers, that maybe they're overwhelmed with their billable hours if they do work for these big law firms, they're unhappy with their bosses, they get zero recognition, maybe they're unhappy in their practice areas. What do you have to say to those women?
I mean, what I would say is, what I try to do is understand that there has to be a balance. And I think what many of us feel is that we're kind of half doing everything. We're not putting 100% as a mom. We're not putting 100% as a wife. We're not putting 100% as a business owner or as an attorney, because we're being pulled in so many directions. So what I would say is, we're all feeling that, whether some of us say it or we don't. We all feel that to some degree. And what I try to do is try to focus on where I'm at, because it doesn't help me to be with my kids and trying to play with him, but stressing about a case that I need to reply on. I'm not replying on the case, and I'm not spending time with my son. The same thing when I'm at work. I try to put aside that, yes, and I hear him sometimes if I'm working from home, especially now with all that's going on, and I hear him laughing or something like that, I try to say, okay, I will be there in 30 minutes and spend 5 minutes with him, but right now let me just focus. So really compartmentalizing and focusing on where you're at has helped me a lot. You asked me about also what about people that are unhappy where they're at and stuff like that. I think a thing that has helped me, even though I haven't implemented it as well as I should, is rather than thinking of all the things that you don't want in your life, kind of write it down and think, what would your perfect life look like? If you want to do it from a personal perspective, but I think from a business perspective, is it working at a big law firm? Is it owning your own law firm? What is it that would make you happy? And it might not be what makes you happy once you get there, but think of what you think your ideal would be, write it down, and then start taking steps towards that. Because I think if you feel like you're not stagnant, you feel like you're making some progress, you will feel more accomplished than just being unhappy as to where you're at right that moment. And when sometimes you can't even change it right then and there.
I agree. And it's a great piece of advice. And I think what happens a lot of times, especially with female lawyers and lawyer moms, is that they don't know where they want to be in their careers. They think they want to work in a big law firm just because that's what you're told from such a young age, from when you start in law school. That's what you're supposed to aspire to. But the reality of that isn't as pretty as, movies and TV shows have made it seem. So, and at least that's from my experience from dealing with it, and from friends of mine and people that I know, because you and I are in the same boat where we run our own law firms, but all the people that I know that work for big law, the reality of it really isn't as picturesque, I think, as it's was once thought to be, not to knock on the big law lawyers, but it's just the reality of it.
And for me, motherhood changed it. I think before I ever was a mom, I was okay working from 7 at night or even later, and it was fine. I mean, what else did I have to do? I went to the gym, I went to work.
The gym, hours at the gym.
Do you even know?
I remember those days.
And then planning for happy hour. I mean, that's really where your life revolved around, or at least mine. And then I became a mom, and so many people told me, everything changes when you're a mom. And I'm like, no. I mean, my career is like the number one thing, the most important thing in the world. And then I had my daughter, and I was at the office till 7 o'clock at night, and my daughter went to bed at 7:30. So by the time I got home, I saw her for maybe 10 minutes. I was just like, I can't do this. I want to see her. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want my career. I want it. So basically I wanted it all, but I just didn't want the 12 hours. I wanted to see her when she was a baby. So that kind of pushed me into opening my office, and it's evolved over time and things have changed. But I can really empathize how, the struggle of moms, and especially new moms,
Yeah.
that have long hours.
Exactly. Exactly. So tell me then, if you think you would have run into yourself, maybe even before you were working at that big law firm, before you went to law school, before you had kids, what advice would you have given yourself to your younger pre-law, pre-kid self?
Sleep more, go to happy hour more, because it's not going to happen later on. It's just
God,
not.
it's true. Happy hour is like it's true. It's like that gem that
Right.
doesn't come easy anymore.
No, I would say that I would tell myself you're going to be okay. Things are going to be up, things are going to be down. You're going to think the world is ending at some point, but it's not. It's not. And at the end of every crisis, if we're going to call it that, you're going to learn something. You're going to come out stronger, and it's going to make you a better person, a better human being, a better attorney, a better mom. So that's what I would tell myself. You'll be fine. Just
Good. You'll be fine. Yeah.
get through it. You'll be fine.
And
So I
that's
kind of tell
all you
myself
have
that.
to hear even now. It's like, everything's going to be okay. You'll be fine. I mean, that's what my
Right.
husband tells me all the time. He's like, everything will work out. But I'm like, how do you know? It just does. And it's true. Somehow it does work out one way or another. So
I think those of us with anxiety had that kind of ongoing talk in our head that, oh my God, what if this happens? What if something else happens? And it's just like, well, what if you just thought everything's going to be fine? Everything's going to work out. How is that going to hurt you? And actually, it will take you out of that thought of doomsday that sometimes anxiety leads you to. So,
right.
yeah, you'll be okay.
So one more little bonus question. How do your kids, like your 9-year-old daughter, how does she describe what you do for a living? Does she understand like what you do? How does she tell other people, oh, what does your mommy do? What does she say?
But she goes around telling people, my mom can see you. And I'm like, no, don't say that to people. No, that's not okay. I'm not suing anybody. Do not say that to your
But
friends.
it is technically true. So
it is technically true. Yes. But I try to, steer her away from that. But I actually asked her this morning, and I was like, what, do you know what I do? And she goes, yeah, you're an attorney. And I go, but what does that mean? She goes, well, I think you help people. And I said, okay. She's like, yeah, like when, they're in trouble, kind of like a mommy. Like you do the same thing you do at home. Just you get paid. And I said, okay, that kind of makes sense. So
phenomenal. That's a really good grasp. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today and talking to me a little bit about what you do and your stories and what it's like to obviously balance being a lawyer and being a mom and working, and especially during these crazy times of this pandemic. I really appreciate you taking the time from your, what I'm sure is a very busy schedule, to chat with me and everyone out there who just needs a little reminder that we're all going through this together and we're all experiencing the same struggles, and that at the end of the day, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll be fine, and it'll be okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is awesome. Thank you so much for creating the Objectionable Mom. I think it's a great service that you're doing to so many mom lawyers that maybe feel alone, and no, they don't have to. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And just remember to follow us on Instagram at The Objectionable Mom, and also on the YouTube channel, The Objectionable Mom, and the website by the same name. So thank you for joining us today.